Hey everybody, Mr. X, Mrs. X, what is up? Wanna know what's up on Mr. X right now, as they're sitting in the bed cuddling watching this video? Yep, his laptop screen. Wait, what did you guys think? Did you guys think I was gonna... Ew, you guys are sick. Well, you know what? Probably not, because his dick probably is up. Oh man, anyway, this is a video response to Exacta's contest. He's hosting one for Knife Thursday. His contest is about a scary story that we can all tell. Basically, his laptop screen is up because that's where he's watching it, in bed on a laptop, also with Mrs. X. So the one who scares Mrs. X or brings Mrs. X closer to Mr. X a little bit more is the one that's going to win. And you know what? I'm not super confident in myself because I am not a scary storyteller. But the stories I think are the most scary are the real ones, instead of those phony ones where you just use shock value to scare people, you know. So I'm going to share a little story about what happened to my family while we were up north camping. So this was about 4 to 5 years ago. I was like 15. And we were at the campfire, and for 2 straight days we were talking all about freaky kind of ghost stories, real stuff that happened to my cousins who used to live in Barbados a long time ago. What would happen is stuff in their house would break, mirrors would just shatter. They would see random stuff in their house moving, floating, stuff like that. Lights and candles would go out when they mentioned the grandma who died there, her name. So there was all kinds of weird stuff, and you can't always believe people who say stuff like that because it's just not going to be true most of the time. But they're pretty close to us. But my aunt is also, she's a little wacky. She's hilarious. She has a hilarious accent from Barbados. So I didn't quite believe it. And maybe it wasn't true, and maybe what happened next was just a coincidence. But the second day after sitting around the fire, and if you know how campsites are set up, there's the fire kind of in the corner here. There's the driveway where you set up your camper. And then there's always a little strip of forest on both sides that block out the campsites on either side. And so we were sitting at the fire. Again, here's the fire. We had people all around it, my whole family. An extended family, about, I'd say, 20 of us, just part of my extended family, by the way. My dad had 12 brothers and sisters, so it's crazy huge. Anyway, we were all sitting there, and after telling stories, scary stories for 2 whole days, I was sitting right here, and I look above the trailer, and this was right before we were all going to head out to bed, and I see this ball of light appear, pretty big. It was probably about this big. Perfectly spherical, it looked like to me. It just went, and then it went and shot straight over us, made the fire swoosh, and at least a few, probably 3 or 4 of us, not me, felt really, really cold, almost freezing air pass over them as it passed. I'd say about 6 out of the 15 or so of us actually saw this. I was the only one who saw the entire thing. Again, this camper was right here. Here's the little strip of forest. Here's the fire. I just saw it appear. It shot, was in my vision for only about 1 second because it just shot right over top of us. And right as it hit this forest, it didn't make any noise. It didn't hit the trees. Just the second it got there, it just disappeared. It didn't stop and disappear. It just faded out right as it hit that tree line. And it's actually given me a little bit of goosebumps as I think about it now, because the only thing I can really think about is why it happened was because we were talking about those scary stories, and some kind of, I don't know, some kind of ghosty spirit thing appeared to us. It was really, really strange. And it's probably not going to sound scary to you at all, but it really freaked us out. Because that's the only experience I've ever had with something, I don't know, unexplainable like that. And there's always the debunkers. You know, I've told it to a ton of people because it was really wacky. And they say, oh, it was a firework, a Roman candle, a flashlight. But it was completely spherical, and it was, you know, 3-dimensional. You could see it wasn't shining on anything. It was just in midair. It didn't make a single noise. It wasn't lightning. Lightning would have made noise. And it wasn't super bright. It was like It was actually kind of, it looked almost like your classic ghost from like a cartoon. Like it was see-through, but it was also bright. It was almost like if you have kind of a beige wall, if you step about, 8 feet back or so and shine a flashlight on it, you can see it's kind of browny, yellowy, kind of see-through. It looked like that, just completely spherical, and it just shot zero noise, but made a lot of wind, made the fire swoosh up, and gave us all the goosebumps. It was really, really creepy. I have the goosebumps now. But yeah, it was just really strange, and like I said, real stories often are the ones that kind of spook me out the most, and that one's always going to stick with me because it was freaky, and it was just, it made it all the more weird just because of all the scary stories we've been telling for 2 days straight around the fire. For some comedic relief, after that little scary bit, which may or may not be scary to you, that night when we were all asleep, there's raccoons everywhere. And in one of the chairs we had around that fire, we left a bunch of the party mix in it, and a raccoon ended up getting in it. And these are little backpack chairs, so on the back there's a little, I don't know, pouch you can store stuff in as you carry the chair. And we had party mix in that little pouch, so instead of going right in the pouch, this raccoon went right through the front of the chair where your back is, made a perfect hole, and it was really dirty because it's walking around all the time, so it looked like burn marks all around this hole that was about this big that raccoon made. It got all the party mix and it left. Anyway, we woke up earlier in that morning, the next day, and there was a perfect hole where this raccoon, clawed through and got the party mix. It looked kind of burnt and all shredded. We took that to my aunt who was on the beach, and she's the one who believes all this because it's happened to her. So we go up to her and we go, "Anne-Marie, look what happened to this chair. Look, the ball went straight through it." And she just got up, just screamed, and was just in total shock. It was so funny. Obviously the raccoon went through it, but she totally believed that this ball went right through the chair. So it was pretty hilarious. It was a freaky situation, turned funny the next day though, and I wasn't, totally scared of it because it wasn't menacing. It wasn't a menacing, weird ball, It was almost like I don't know, I can't even explain it. It's just I know it was fine, whatever it was, and it was just spooky that it happened just after talking about all that stuff. So that's my little scary story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I really appreciate your time, and yeah, hopefully I win. Cheers.